Tonight, a candlelight prayer service is being held for the missing 84-year-old as the search to find her enters a fourth day. Police working through the new DNA evidence they have acquired. Brand new 911 calls, meantime, reveal the medical conditions that are putting Nancy Guthrie's health at risk. Listen.
Heavy reference Nancy, a white female, 84 years of age, 5'2" medium build, pineapple blue, ring after 2,200 hours. As of yesterday, Nancy has high blood pressure, pacemaker, and cardiac issues.
A possible ransom note was reportedly sent to media outlets demanding millions of dollars in Bitcoin, but police have not yet confirmed its authenticity, saying we are aware of reports circulating about a possible ransom note related to the investigation into Nancy Guthrie. All tips and leads are being taken seriously and are forwarded directly to our detectives, who are coordinating with the FBI. But police are also struggling to answer other questions about this investigation.
Do you have any idea what Nancy Guthrie was wearing or the type of car that she might have left from, or any identifiable information that the public could use to help with those tips?
We do not.
Sheriff, do you believe that one or more than one person was involved in the kidnapping?
I just no clue. It could have been one, it could have been more.
For someone that is still alive.
We hope we are. We hope we are.
A former ATF special agent in charge, Bernard Zapor, joins us now. And Bernard, let's pick it up on the ransom note. How will authorities authenticate, figure out whether this ransom note is real or not?
Well, number one, in fact, if there is in fact a ransom note, because part of the difficulty with an investigation has this scale of notoriety because it's related to a celebrity's family member, is that they're getting so many tips. And they're getting them online, they're getting them through social media, they're getting so many things that have to be followed up on. They're leaning probably into advanced case management, AI case management, to go through the tips and find commonalities so they're not burning up investigating time on the wrong things. In terms of anything that comes in, something as specific as a ransom note, it's going to have a tell in it that has to match what happened at the scene. And it would have to reveal things pretty readily that only somebody that was on site would know about, or something about the potential victim.
The ransom note, apparently, according to DMC, did have details about what Nancy Guthrie was wearing and other identifiable information, including a deadline as to when they apparently want this Bitcoin to be sent to them. Do you believe, given that reporting, that this ransom note is authentic?
They will treat it as it is, and they have to run it down for every possibility. They will have the ability to have things in there that give them some type of determination, particularly as they're exploiting more information, including video captures and a number of other technologies out there that will show this. You know, kidnaps in the United States, non-domestic kidnappings are statistically very rare. And so this will always get a tremendous amount of investigative attention. The Sheriff's Department is partnering with their local law enforcement and the FBI. And again, they're processing a lot of information. Kidnapping notes are a great piece of evidence if they in fact lead them to more possibilities, for sure.
I want to focus now on the technology aspect of all this, and our own Alicia Acuna gives us a good jumping off point. She did a tour of Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood. Here's what she found.
It's really difficult, just from the perspective of driving down the street, to see into where these homes are. So then you keep in mind that investigators have collected some of the door cam videos from the neighbors, and you've got to wonder exactly what they can see, because a lot of homes, this is Nancy Guthrie's home, are set back away, and there's a lot of stuff, you know, beautiful trees and cactus, they're in front of them, but from an investigative standpoint, that can create some challenges.
Okay, Bernard, so Alicia focuses on the door cams. Is there any other technology that we should be focused on? The one thing that jumped out to me is the pacemaker. Is there any way to track where that pacemaker is to locate her?
Yes, very often. Things like medical devices have telemetry in them that are often that send signals to monitoring centers. They send alerts for irregularities, and that is very common in contemporary medical devices like that. Additionally, you know, we have to think beyond or just realize that in our society today, there's so much video evidence or video information being captured from people that are hobbyists or that will keep dash cams on their own vehicle to prevent lawsuits of car accidents. So there's a lot of things besides door cam in terms of video that are a possibility in tracking the movement of somebody that would have been removed forcefully or anything that happened coming in and out of that neighborhood, because they have a time frame and they will narrow the time frame down. And as these tips come forward, there might be people that possess video evidence or other technical evidence that is of great value.
Yeah. There were also droplets of blood reportedly found at Nancy Guthrie's home, and that blood sample is currently being tested. How long till we find out who it belongs to?
I think they have a pretty good idea. The first thing is they'll be able to do is eliminate anybody that comes in and out of that house on a normal basis, whether they're somebody who does landscaping or her herself. And that's their first primary thing, is to determine if they know whose blood it is, and it's somebody related that would be normally at that house. I mean, unclean blood would be unusual. Also, to find out if it's human, they're going to know that right away. If they determine they have blood there that it's not related to anybody that would be in the normal course of this family's life in that house, then they're going through all the indices of existing DNA that's out there. And, DNA is collected at a much larger scale in contemporary times, because people that are arrested, DNA is taken. There are DNA that is voluntarily submitted for people that are looking for heredity and family ties. And so there's a lot of DNA that can possibly be checked. The first thing, though, is to make sure they want to determine if they have human DNA and if it is somebody that doesn't belong in the house.
Understood. Well, when asked if investigators are still looking for someone who is still alive, Sheriff Nanos yesterday said, "We hope we are." And I think we all echo that sentiment. Absolutely. Former ATF Special Agent in Charge, Bernard Zapor, we thank you so much for joining us this morning.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.